Good afternoon, everyone. I have Angela Heller Herzog joining the show today. My name is Brent. I am the Canadians with Disabilities and Allies host, and I'm pleased to welcome Angela to the show.
Hi there, Brent. It's my pleasure to be here. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks. Happy to connect with you, and I can hear you very well, which is great.
And everyone joining into the show today, Angela is actually calling into the show, which is fabulous. And I encourage other guests who join into the show in the future, if they would feel more comfortable about calling into the show, you're more than welcome to do so. And thank you so much, Angela, for taking the time. And just to let everyone know that Angela is going to be on here for maximum 1 hour today, doing a segment and talking about very important issues regarding the aspect of how the environment has affected so many things in life, as we know, and also pressing on to other disability issues too. But we'll get into all that as we go through the show.
So I hear that you're having forest fires again in British Columbia.
We are in the Okanagan. It's not definitely not very good, and it never is any good, but up in Lytton, British Columbia, and that's very devastating. Like almost a year ago, where it wiped out almost the whole community of Lytton. Very devastating. So yeah, the temperature was climbing up there really, really high, and very unfortunate, very sad.
So that kind of extreme weather event, and I mean, I would include fire caused by extreme drought and lack of rain as an extreme weather event. That's the kind of thing that I think we're going to be seeing increasingly as the climate emergency starts unfolding.
Yes, indeed. I think there's going to be more outbreaks of more severe weather. It's going to be intensifying as time goes on. We need to completely eliminate fossil fuels, right?
That's, like having that kind of in a nutshell understanding that this is about getting rid of fossil fuels because burning them makes the problem worse. I mean, as well as like methane. That's really what we need at the core, right? As opposed to getting distracted with all kinds of things. And I think the government seems to not have as much focus on the issue as you do, Brent.
Yeah, it's definitely to the forefront of environmental aspects. It affects everybody in so many ways. Through the pocketbook of high gas prices, I mean, the oil industry, they're just raking in billions of dollars of profit, and for why? Like, I mean, yeah, I look back when I was a kid. I mean, we had a gravel road. We didn't have horse and buggies, but I look back and there wasn't very many vehicles on the road way back when, right? A lot of people rode bikes everywhere and they got around. Sustainable transportation, low emission is the way to go in the future now. But now I look and there's more traffic everywhere, and sadly there's not enough rapid transit to go around, which would reduce down emissions for sure, and it's better for our environment.
I think that the whole mobility equation is very interesting. We had a very severe storm here in Ottawa, and I think it lay a swath from Toronto right through to Ottawa and then going into the province of Quebec. And the damage was incredible, and so many power lines down, so many trees down, power outages in some places over a week. And interestingly enough, some of the people that did the best were people that did have batteries on hand, whether it's from electric vehicles or some of these people that patch things together by themselves because they have, I guess, the engineering talent. And they were able to keep their freezers going and didn't lose the food in the freezers, and they were able to keep their phones charged. I wonder if for someone that has like an electric wheelchair, whether there's a way to charge your phone from your battery on your wheelchair.
Yeah, I actually, that is a good question. I'm not really sure on that. Yeah, I'd like to know more about that actually, because that would be so helpful to so many people, and definitely makes things more accessible. Indeed.
Yeah, so I was watching another discussion at webinar very recently, and they were talking about electric vehicles, so like electric cars. And some of the newer models, they have this ability that you can like reverse charge. So you can get the electricity from the vehicle's battery and then take it and charge your fridge or your freezer or your phone. But the earlier generations of electric vehicles didn't have this ability, but it's now recognized that for emergency preparedness, this is like a really handy feature. It'd be really interesting to hear from the wheelchair community what the technology there looks like and whether that's been thought about. In starting to think and learn about climate and disability, I think the whole issue of emergency preparedness is one big aspect and chapter of that, because having emergencies around extreme weather events, the rivers are flooding not like once in 100 years, but like every second, third year now. And we're having these massive extreme events, right? And the power being out is an aspect that could impact people with disability a lot more severely than somebody who can just, hop and skip, further away and see if they can get access to power. If somebody has like serious mobility challenges. So there's, I think, a lot to think about in terms of emergency preparedness and emergency planning, which Canada is really just starting to do.
Yeah, it's a good. They got a long way to go for sure. I mean, it's would have been nice if they would have been working on this decades ago for sure, right? And the climate we probably wouldn't be in this state that we're in now.
Well, it's ridiculous, right? Because I mean, people have known about climate change coming. I mean, scientifically for an awfully long time, right? And I mean, governments are just like in this action denial, and the politicization of climate has is blocking the United States from doing anything. It's terrible.
Yeah, exactly. And and then I look at when especially the environmental changes that we're having, like we're getting a lot more severe weather, like you mentioned. Like last year in British Columbia, we had a heat dome, and it lasted for it was like 3 days maximum, and it spiked up in many areas, as we know what happened in Lytton on that one. But in other areas, it really made people realize that we are not prepared to handle extreme weather events, and we need to prepare for it. And how is that? Well, I guess we need to really, having you on talking about these important things regarding environmental stuff, right? Because and so many other people, to learn like of environmental aspects of how can we change the the environment going forward, reducing fossil fuels, less reliant on it, and how do we do it? Well, that's something that I'd like to know more about.
Yeah, I think that in terms of the conversation, I think that it's started, but it's traveling and shifting from just talking about environment and sort of taking sort of the green dimension on this and that issue to talking about climate justice. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of a broader, and I mean it's a concept that includes climate and social justice, including for persons with disability. I think once you kind of make that shift, the conversation starts to, be more complex in a way, but also be a lot more meaningful and interesting.
Yeah, and bringing awareness to what's what people can do, and work together, collaboratively to solve all the major issues that are happening. Meaning that we can, as society, we can make changes in a positive direction.
We need to figure out what are our systems, and then are those systems also meeting the needs for people with disabilities? So what's the plan? I mean, I think we are a society with resources and with technology, and government isn't all going to kind of serve it up on a platter, right? I think it takes citizens raising their voices and saying, like, hey, like, what's the plan here? So you're talking about a national adaptation plan. Well, do you have participation of people with disabilities in making that plan? What's up with you guys, And I think we have to ask for these things. I think that there is a lot of people with physical disability who are disproportionately affected by heat, right? In terms of like respiratory issues and like being resilient against heat. I think, again, like we need to work together as, I would say, like climate justice community. And we haven't really started doing that, right? Because many parts of our like different social justice and civil society organizations are we're struggling with each of our little capacities, and we don't have that much time for like that broad conversation where we all stand together and say like, hey, government, this is important and you need to be planning for these needs, including for the most vulnerable.
So, Angela, I actually have Patrick joined into the show here. So maybe some insight on to what we were discussing regarding mobility issues, like regarding for like, the wheelchair or scooters. So maybe some insight here from Patrick. I was able to reach out to him and got him coming on here. Patrick, you're up. How are you doing there?
I'm all right. How are you, Brent?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I have Angela Keller-Herzog on here. She's joining in. She called into the show today.
Hi, Angela.
Hi there. How are you?
Good. And yourself?
Good.
What part of the country are you in?
So I'm based in Ottawa, and okay. I'm a climate activist here. I run a little NGO, and we do a lot of advocacy work. And I've also been a candidate for the Green Party of Canada.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Yeah, I guess mobility is quite a concern when it comes to emergency planning. Like you were mentioning with the heat dome out west again, I think you're right about it affecting low income and disabled people for the most part. And something that I don't think gets addressed much is the cost of air conditioning for people who have low incomes. Like even if you have an air conditioner, you may not be able to afford to run it because of the cost of power, right?
Yep.
It's challenging. And then you've got the elderly here in Ontario with the care homes. There was rules brought in to allow them to be cooled or not to exceed a certain temperature in the care homes, and the government, surprise, backed off from that and isn't enforcing the rules. So old age homes are going to be really sweltering again because they didn't get air conditioning. It's not just low income and disabled people. It's all sorts of vulnerable people.
Yeah, I think that if you look at the numbers that came out of that coroner's report in British Columbia from the heat dome, the elderly seniors are definitely like the ones who really took the hit. The sad thing that I've been like trying to point out in like the first conversations we've been having here with the municipal council in Ottawa is, like how much value do we put on a life? Like is it like $5 million or is it like, like what is it?